I don't know what it's called in English, but the Laugen for the pretzels.
Ah, Yeah, that was like one of the yeah, yeah, she can use it. 4 hours, 4 hours, yeah, that's pretty cool. So you essentially the way it works is and I think that would really when he was Garen to us, he was Garen to me. I think Garen having the English speak work with us is sort of still working on other never actually but now it's officially so I think we're actually going to Oh, this is. Yeah, she was that's what I went to like only a couple of days, but I was walking around the city, I'm like, it's really the same three flavors that you have in pastry and all like you can make right there. Yeah, she sort of said it's sort of practice. I'm like, you'll see. She said this.
So is it Ready? Which mic is working?
A century ago, the Wright brothers shocked the world by flying 120 feet. Within decades, Neil Armstrong, using the latest technology, was stepping foot onto the moon 400,000 kilometers from Earth. Today, the mobile phone in your hand is 1,000,000 times faster. The pace of technological change is exponential. To truly harness this change and embrace the potential, we have to adapt to learn faster. At BHP, we are embracing the digital transformation and accelerating our own technology journey. But we can't be successful if we work in a hierarchical way, with top-down direction, endless planning, minimal collaboration. We must break boundaries and challenge the status quo. Our success lies with our most important and unique asset, our people. We want to empower them to be self-organized and work across organizational lines, to collaborate and to think big. We are embracing a mindset called Team of Teams, a mindset that is transforming the way we work.
Business is all about trust. We've always struggled to get real-time data off our assets. The plan was to find a new way to access this data in a way that hadn't been tried by BHP before. We managed to pull in the skills that we needed from different areas within the business. The leaders allowed us to try our ideas, prove our concepts before we settled on the right solution.
We have a common purpose, where everyone's input is valid, and you are given space to perform and trusted to break new ground. A Team of Teams culture listens, learns, creates, and always remembers that they are empowered to think big. The technology team are challenged every day. New problems, new opportunities, and through working as a team of teams, new solutions. And it's you that will drive this. So think big, dream big, work together, create the future today.
Well, welcome. Whoa, that's pretty loud. Welcome to Digital Tribes. Thanks for coming and joining us on the launch event this Friday. I think that was a great video, and it really showcases the future of where BHP is moving into. My name is Zane. I'm a director and founder of Unearth. We run a global program of innovation focused on the resource space. We have done many. So we believe in the power of entrepreneurship to transform the individuals and communities, focus on these great global challenges. Unearth started here in Perth as a little event in 2014, and we've continued to grow. We are super excited about the digital future and what that means to great organizations like BHP and others. This is why we run good events like this in Digital Tribes. We think the potential of individuals and of teams, of the next generation of jobs and skills to make an impact on the industry is massive. We've been doing this for a while. The outcomes to date, we've been building a global program. We've worked with over 2,000 plus innovators. It's great to see you guys down here. 50 plus, 60 plus real industry challenges and hundreds of prototypes. And you guys are part of a great event here. The opportunity is massive. In the resource space, there's going to be over $1 trillion of economic impact coming through in the next 10 years. It's going to transform the industry. We are 100% at an inflection point. Lots of organizations are waking up to this and are now excited about engaging with the talent that can make that change and be part of that change. And that's really why we're here for this Digital Tribes event. First, it's the skills of the future. The skills of the future are no longer what school specifically you went to. When you checked your degree and then stopped learning is done. You need to be learning and become a lifelong learner. You need to be able to dive into new technologies because the speed of change is so quick. Be able to work on real industry challenges like you saw in the video, prototype, try them out. They fail, that's okay. If they work better, implement them quickly. This is a great event that's IoT focused, and this is a global reach. So I put some dots up there. Those aren't random. In this event, there'll be participants across the globe in each one of those places participating in Digital Tribes for the next 2 weeks. We've done this event over 2 weeks. Sometimes we do weekend events. This one with hardware, and to really understand the challenge and to work in the teams needs a bit of an extended period. So you all have 2 weeks to go from the initial issues, work with the mentors, work directly with BHP, understand the challenges, and then prototype out what that potential solution looks like. When you talk to everyone here, they'll be talking about the challenge. The expectation is that you bring your skills, your capability, your teamwork to deliver that prototype. This is different. We're not looking at the CVs around what's the future for BHP and how can they engage with you guys for the future. They're actually looking at what you can build and how do you work in a team and how can you develop that out. They're also really focused around the BHP values, and there'll be individual sessions around talking through the values of BHP with all the participants. First up, to explain more about Digital Tribes, about the transformation in BHP, I'd like to welcome Kate Holling from BHP, Manager of Maintenance.
Thanks very much, Zane. My name is Kate Holling. I'm the Manager of Maintenance for BHP Billiton at Eastern Ridge, which is just out of Newman, about 1,500 k's north of Perth, for those of you who aren't familiar with WA. I guess a few weeks ago when this event was starting to get legs, Kurt and the team asked me to come along and say a few words about, from an operational perspective, what the digital revolution and what innovation means to me and what it means to my team as an operations team, and why we need to partner with all of the people in this room and the skills and experience and expertise that you have to transform our business and our industry over the coming years. When I think about the digital revolution and what we're trying to do at BHP, really, as Zane mentioned, it's absolutely an inflection point in where the industry's at now. We have the need to transform our business. We have the platform to do so, and we have the appetite from our people to do things differently. If you have a look at the industry-wide resources, oil and gas globally at the moment, there's a significant appetite from investors, communities in which we operate, our employees internally as well, to do things safer and to do things better and to do things more productively than we currently do. If you have a look at the industry over the last 100 years, we have been at the forefront of innovation in many ways, but that innovation has been more around chemical engineering, refining and processing. A lot of things in the engineering space to be innovative, but in terms of the use of really modern cutting edge technology, we haven't had that step change that so many other people have, which has transformed their industry. But right now you can feel it internally and you can feel it in the market as well, that the world around us is changing and we need to get quicker and we need to get better at implementing new and innovative ways of doing things. So the appetite is absolutely there from our business and from our investors and from the employees as well. Secondly, we've got the absolute platform to leverage technology and innovation in our business. So a little bit about what we do for those who are non-miners in the room, which I suspect are many of you. Our business over the last 10 years has worked really hard to develop a standard of equipment in our mobile equipment. You saw the trucks on the video before. In our fixed plants and crushing plants to have really standard equipment across the globe. So our operations in Newman and our operations on the East Coast in coal, our operations in the United States and South America are running all the same equipment across a lot of our mines and processing facilities. And the opportunity that gives us is that if we are to find something from anyone in this room that can give us even 0.5% improvement in productivity or a reduction in costs or an improvement in safety for our people in the operations, that's something that can be really rapidly replicated across the globe. And the enormous amount of uplift that that represents for us is huge. So all of this innovation and technology, even if we just find one thing that we can do better on safety, productivity and costs, is huge. So as a company, we want to partner with people who are thinking differently and acting differently and bring new thoughts to our business to help us improve across all of those pillars. And I guess the final point for us in why we're so keen for this technology revolution is the appetite from our people. So if you look at our workforce demographics, for a long time we've probably had low turnover, median age of maybe 50, people who have been in industry for a long time doing things in the same way for a long time. And we're starting to bring in younger people, people from different backgrounds, a really diverse mixture of people into our workforce. And what that means is that their appetite and their drive to bring in new technology and to do things smarter is exponential. Our people look at the news and see what we're doing in other parts of the world or other industries. We look at the way that we can put technology on the moon, but we can't necessarily do innovative things with our trucks in the same way. And so that appetite is really significant, and people are starting to get really, really behind us if we want to make change. So I think the important message for me as the operations person here tonight is to say that we are absolutely keen and supportive to partner with people in technology. And over the next coming couple of weeks, as you come up with your innovations and as you trial different things and present them to us, there's a genuine appetite from us to be part of it and to have you as part of our team and to see what you can do. So I think the key messages for us are really go out there and be creative and think differently. We want to see some really different, really exciting stuff. And we look forward to in a couple of weeks seeing what you come back with and seeing how you can potentially be part of our team. So thanks very much. Thanks to everyone who's taking part in the challenge for being here. And really can't wait to see what happens over a few weeks. Thanks.
Thanks, Kate. I think the really critical point there, which it was missing within the resource base in the past, is a willingness of operations to take on these changes and to take on the digital future. And it's really great to see that support coming through. Next up, I want to welcome Kurt, Head of Digital Strategy for BHP.
Thanks, Zane. I've just been on a plane for about 3 weeks, which is amazing because I got home and I got left over in Hong Kong, which isn't that bad, but got left over in Hong Kong. So finally got back and pulled out the globe. And my son said, well, where were you? Why were you stuck? And I kind of traced the BHP operation. So, we were here and then we had sort of the short stop for a family holiday in Bali. And then I went straight from there to Qatar to get to Houston, where our operations for petroleum is. And then we went to Saskatoon in the middle of Canada, which if you drill the hole, you probably might pretty much get to Perth. And then from there, I had to fly to Hong Kong because that's the shortest way back. And then you get back to Perth. And it's kind of amazing when you trace this route across the little globe that my son brought in. And it sort of just reaffirmed for me, like, why did I join BHP? I've been with BHP for about 8 or 9 months now. And I think Kate summed it up beautifully. There's a real inflection point and the sense of this pressure that's building that we need to change and adopt a lot of the things that we see outside. And for me, that opportunity is just amazing. Before I tell you a little bit about BHP's digital strategy and where we're going, just wanted to say thank you to a whole bunch of people that made this possible. It's really easy to get excited about the amazing people in the room and what we're going to experience in the next 2 weeks and so forth. But I just wanted to pause for a moment and just highlight a few people. In front of me is a very special lady called Angela Lamb. Angela, could you please just stand? I know you don't like to, but could you please stand up? This is Angela Lamb over here. Could you just give her a big hand of applause? Now, you heard that video with Team of Teams. Now, Angela doesn't work for me. She works in a few teams adjacent. And this, helping put this together from the BHP side is not her job. But she loves the graduate programs we've got so much. She loves innovation. She loves bringing new blood and thinking into the business that How many calls have we had sometimes like, sorry, I haven't had time to talk, but it's a 9 p.m. phone call from home and we have a quick chat to work out how we're going to get this thing through legal or get this process approved. But it's people like Angela that make it possible. And I just want to say, Angela, thank you very much. A big thank you to Kate as well for coming all the way down from Newman. She didn't come for the weather on this weekend. I'm sure it's warmer in Newman. But, you know, it's one of those signs that if we can work together and we have the team of teams approach, then the ability for technology to make a change in our operations, the only place that it really matters, then this is a good sign that Kate's willing to come here and spend her personal time to be here tonight for what's essentially a technology process. Jake, are you here? One of the nice guys from the video. Jake's really been orchestrational and working out and working with our hardware tribe, which is primarily what the competition's about, and defining what the challenges are. And Jake's very active at one of the mines where Kate works, where we do a lot of our innovation projects. Also like to say to the hardware tribe members, you've seen some of them in the videos, Angus, Sam, Richard, Yaron, thanks for the work. And the mentors, there's going to be quite a few mentors that's going to give you some of their time to help you solve the problems that we've got. But in particular, also like to give you a feeling for the culture of BHP. How does it feel to work with us? What does it mean when we say that collaboration is more important than just having the best answer? So that's what our mentors are going to bring. And then our HR team, this is a drive to do a few things. One is to invest back into our community, help fund and fuel the startup community. We're also looking to bring people with hardware and software, data, user experience skills into BHP, and I'll talk about that in a second. So our HR team have been very active in helping us, and thanks to the HR team for working through that process. And then importantly, we can't be here without our partners on it. So thank you very much, Zane, Chris, Justin. I know we've had a few like late night planning calls out of Canada to get a few last minute things sorted. But thanks guys, I think you're putting on a beautiful show. So with that out of the way, let me talk to you just a second about what is BHP's digital strategy. And if you look at most people's digital strategies, you'll see a lot of stuff about the technologies they're investing in, drones, virtual reality, the ability to put things on mobile devices. And sure, those things feature for us. But I'll tell you what's at the heart of BHP's digital strategy. Diane was our Chief Technology Officer, and it's quite a good move, I think, from BHP. It's one of the first places where we really put the CIO and the CTO in a very senior role, reporting directly to the CEO, is Diane. So Diane's quote in the video was, fully integrated, highly automated by 2025 from mine or from resource to market. Now, if you look at BHP, global operation, we have about 30 operations. That's 8 years. That's 3+ operations a year to fully integrate and highly automate. And if you sort of do the math and you think about, an engineer goes and says, this is on the back of a napkin, and goes, wow, how do you get to that level of speed? And so at the heart of BHP's digital strategy is how do we do technology, innovation, and all the things that we try that touch technology up to 100 times faster by 2025. And it may sound like a lot, but if we look at what the heavy industrial companies like Tesla and SpaceX, Amazon in the warehouses do, it's an achievable number. The hard work is the formula to get you to 100 times. So I'm going to give you the secret formula. The formula is working in a team of teams. We'll get by 2025 twice the speed. That's about Kate and the technology agreeing exactly what's important so we don't build the wrong products. It's about automating the work another 2 times. So I don't have to log a call to get a server or get something done. I can write the code myself. It's about building repeatable platform components in data and hardware and service-based technology and repeatable infrastructure. That'll give us a 3 times uplift. And then the last 2 components are quite important to know. The last 2, 3 times and 3 times, if you multiply it, I'll give you 108 speed increase in what we do, is to embed natively strong capability within BHP. And that's our digital tribes that we're building globally. Those are the kind of skill sets that you have. Because to manage a project, you really need to understand what the detailed technical decisions are you make. And so the digital tribes are bringing additional, especially from a digital perspective, deep technical leadership into our business. and building the ability to empower them. So whether you are building something yourself or working with a partner or working with someone in the market, the ability to have that conversation at a one-on-one level will accelerate us a lot. And then the third way, the last of the 5 things that gives us another 3 times uplift is the ecosystem. That is partners like Unearth to help us access more talent. That is the startup community that places like Flux, SpaceCube, Houston Station, and others help us incubate. But today it'd be very hard for some of those startups to walk into BHP, plug in a computer, get the data, and talk to someone who talks the same language. And that's why all these building blocks make sense about having a team of teams approach where we have direct access to operations, having the ability to automate work, having the ability to use building blocks repeatedly so we don't have to build it from scratch, having the deep technical skills of the digital tribes in place, and then this ecosystem where we can work with others. So that's the journey we're on. We're really excited to work with you and see what you can bring from this competition we've got here, either as a partner in the future or as someone that we can bid within BHP.
Thanks, Kurt. And now to talk actually what it's like in the organization to really do this, I'd like to welcome up Sam Thomas.
Yeah, had to write this down. I couldn't do it off the cuff like these two. But yeah, I'm here to tell you about how I ended up in my dream job. I went from high school straight into a surveying cadetship. Over the next few years, I completed my Bachelor of Spatial Science and I became an expert at hitting sticks into dirt. Technology progressed quickly in the spatial industry. Total stations became mag-driven and could talk. GPS got Bluetooth and real-time maps. Point cloud scanners hit the market, then not long after they were replaced by drones. During this transition, I realized that my real passion was inventing. I went from writing things down on paper to writing programs to query and convert data sets. I designed circuit boards for photogrammetry systems, built SQL databases, wrote add-on modules for engineering programs, and designed my own flight planning software for drones. When I got home, I'd build FPV racing drones and computers and machine guidance controllers. A friend of mine saw a secondment opportunity pop up on the notice board, called me straight away. I spoke to Jake and Eden, and before I knew it, I was on a plane from Brisbane to Perth to join a digital hardware tribe. It's been 3 months and I still can't wipe the smile off my face. Our lab is full and is prototyping heaven. I feel like I'm a kid again in the middle of the lounge room surrounded by Lego, except now I get paid to play. Your lab ticket is in one of the 2 challenges we've devised. The first one is around positional awareness, which you can imagine is extremely important in a mining environment when you could get run over by something as big as your house. The second is a subject close to my heart, machine surveying. Capturing mine surface in real time adds real value to the planning process. It also means less sticks being run over. Good luck in the next 2 weeks, and I hope to see some of you in the lab.
Awesome, thanks for that. I'll give you a bit of a rundown on sort of how the next 2 weeks are going to pan out. I'll make it very quick. Most of you that are joining in for the event, all of this information is pretty much on Slack. Slack will be very much the centerpiece of all our communication. There's a sticky channel in there. If you ever want to look up something, it's all in there. Or if you can't find it, then just hit me up on Slack. So basically, over the next 2 weeks, tonight will be open to about 11 o'clock. The next couple of days will be open during the day, so you can come in, work here. The people joining online, very much driven by Slack as well. They can book mentors in over the next 2 weeks. We've got an online scheduling software running. And during the week, Core will be open here for 1 hour a night for you guys to come in as well, meet the mentors that will be here for you. We will have, jump to the next slide. I know some of you will have seen it, and those who haven't seen it, I recommend popping down just that little sidetrack there. There's a maker lab down there that will be open and manned by Carl. Carl is around here somewhere. Hands up. Eyes run away already. So he'll be here tomorrow from 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock. If you've got any questions around 3D printing, around soldering, he's your man. He can give you access to that. You can book time in with him. He'll be here during the week again, and he'll be here next weekend as well to give you access. So anything you want to build, you might want to put your Raspberry Pi in a little casing, or you might want to build some kind of device. You can do that in there. Cool. We've got a pretty impressive panel of judges for the sort of final night. It's going to be on the 14th of July from 4 o'clock on. We've got Jake Stride, who we've seen a couple of times now in the video and in person here. We've got Kirsten Rose, the Mission Technology at BHP. Pat Berg, the General Manager of, is it Swellbag, isn't it? And Eastern Ridge, okay. And Matt from AWS, covering the resources side. So pretty impressive judging panel. Again, and we've said that before. They will be judging you on your technology solution as a team. Ultimately, that is only part of the assessment that's been done, sort of to see how you guys fit overall to the BHP team. That is then a separate thing. Cool, and that will lead into the prizes. Ultimately, we'll have a first prize, second prize, and the People's Choice Award. These two prizes are determined by the judges on your prototype. As a team, that will be distributed by the team. And sort of the really big one is then, if you can really demonstrate that you fit in with the BHP culture, that you can really work in a team, that you're innovative. And BHP will select a number of people to join the digital tribe. That's dramatic. That works really well with it. We'll select a couple of people to join the digital tribe for a certain period, with the view then of taking those people on for the longer run. And what's always pretty exciting is then the People's Choice Award. Like, how do you rate each other for the prizes? So I'm really looking forward to that. Cool.
So thanks again for coming down to the launch. That's the end of the official launch. If you're a participant, please go down to Hinkler, which is a room that's just down the side there, and we're going to start with some team forming and starting to go through the challenges. If you're not, feel free to stick around, ask some questions, meet some people from BHP. It's a really great initiative, and there's lots to learn on it. So appreciate you guys taking the time, and really looking forward to the teams getting busy. We'll start working down in Hinkler right away. Cheers. I did see that. Yeah. Hang around. I was gonna.
So those tuning in online will move over to Hinkler, and we'll work on the team forming.
Oh, cool. Okay. Hey man, how you doing? Say.
We work for TechMahindra.
Okay.
We're working as a tech integration.
Okay.
So we work on real software integrations.
Yep.
So how far we can relate towards the challenges what we are not known of much what exactly you're looking at in this 2 weeks program.
You guys signed up.
No, but this is a whole week program, as you know.
No, you don't have to come here the whole time.
Oh, okay.
No, you come as you need. This is not expected to be full 2 weeks.
Okay.
No. You guys got jobs and stuff. No, it's totally okay. Not a big deal.
Okay.
You do what you can do. And we got weekends that are available.
We just share a presentation.
Yes, I got to grab a presentation. Go to Hinkler. Not a big deal. And also the two things, there's networks and there's hardware. So there's
Okay.
So go, sorry, network and another one around.
So it's all related to hardware program?
No, one of them is more network.
Do you want to mount it?
Stick around, at least watch the first challenges.
To this?
Do
we need them now?
Yeah.
Say hello.
Oh shit.
It's live streaming. I'm on actually. Stop picking your nose.
So we just
You're online.
Oh, am I? Hello.
There's help. It's not on the side. It's not. You need to pull it. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's in.
Pass me a bag, I'll put it on the table.
Oh, thanks.
Just sitting down, same form of stuff. You guys all aware of that, yeah? Well, I mean, it's not like you're all like, you know, like waiting for a presentation like that. Just chill out, move the chairs around as well. Like maybe yeah, we should
There's something. I'll talk to you.
All right. So thanks everyone for coming down. I think it's a pretty awesome turnout. Based on the list, I think we've got pretty much everyone that got accepted and signed up here. We've got a couple of people. I don't know, is Idris? Oh no, Idris isn't here. He's joining remote. Is Jack Scott here? No. There's one person missing. Manu Aidazada. Not here as well. Michael Swaddle. And I know Michael, I think I got a request from Austin, who's not here as well. Okay. And they were in a team. And then Michael Jacob. Is he going to join them? Oh, he's on the stream, but so he's part of. He's still coming. Okay, good. That's all right. And then Owen Merriman. Okay, good. No, that's all right. So, is everyone on Slack? Has anyone not signed up to Slack? Okay, so I recommend you should have received a link from me, right? You need to just click on it. You can sign up straight away. If you don't have Slack, download it. We're pushing all our communication through Slack. We encourage you as a team, create your own little channel within Slack and communicate through that. Cheers, Mike. By the way, I'm Chris, and that's Mikey. So we'll probably will be your point of contact if you've got any questions, if anything you need. Let us know. If you let's say you want to speak to a specific mentor, you can't get hold of them. Just let me know. I can give them a ring. I can ask them to meet you during the day after work. they're quite flexible as well, and they are super keen to work with you guys as well. So if that means for them, you know, staying back after work or meeting outside work hours, that's not a problem. So I've based on your preference and basically a little bit based on your profile that you've put together when you sent the application in. I've tried to make the teams quite diverse in terms of skill. I want to have like not 4 people with. I try to make the team quite diverse, so we got a bit of, you know, hardware skills and software skills together. Some of the teams where you know, like 3rd-year uni student are trying to get someone with a bit of experience in. So I think most of you had a chance to look at sort of the team matrix that I've put up there. Anyone that says they're not in a team with someone that wants to be in a team with? So, yeah?
Can you move me with Nathan Lowe?
Yeah, who are you? Sorry.
Adrian.
Adrian?
Yeah, no, it's us, mate. So.
Well, then the 2 guys.
Hi. Oh, nice to meet you.
So, Adrian, right?
Yeah.
You want to go with Nathan?
That'd be great.
Is there anyone else up here? That's right, because only 3 that works well then. Okay, that doesn't really change anything. Yeah?
I know my friend Marco, Yakov, he couldn't make it. He wants to be in my group.
Okay. Who's that, sorry?
Marco, yeah, but I'm in group 2.
I'm already doing it.
And Thomas Brown.
Which group 2?
Group 2.
Michael, there we go. Yeah, and
6.
2-6.
There were the 2 names you mentioned, so I don't know if they might come in. I address them.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'll just do a swap then. 6 and 2. All right. Well, the aircon is really not doing much. Mike, is that off? No. Maybe open the door with.
You know, address on the door. No, they were coming.
Sir?
You know, address on the next.
I know Idris is definitely coming. He couldn't attend tonight, but he sent someone down to actually pick up the rest of the already. So maybe he's already hacking away. Hopefully, actually, it'd be interesting to see. I know that there's a bit of a video, there's a bit of a chat going. So if Idris, if you're on the chat, it'd be cool if you could say hi in the chat in there. Mikey's gonna keep an eye on it. Oh yeah. Just see. That's where all the links are in the sticky channel. You don't know if you saw that, but it's like just came through. Got a few people tuning in. So if you haven't had a look on Slack, basically it's pretty easy to know. It's pretty easy organized. We've got most of the communication, so as a group, will go out through the Digital Tribes channel. Then there's for online participants, which is for those which are tuning in right now on the camera. And there's a sticky channel where I'll put up everything from booking software to core opening hours. In the core opening hours, you can see there's some time slots in there when Solder will be open, when Carl will be here. So you can all find that there. One thing that's already on there is a info pack link. So the 2 mentors, when we pop out there again. No, it's just on. It's still streaming. Just start. So basically, that link there, additional challenge pack. There's additional info in there for both of the challenges. So it's probably after you've spoken with the 2 mentors. Now we'll do a 20-minute Q&A session with both of the challenge mentors. Afterwards, you probably want to get together with your team. And that's probably where you want to go first. Have a look at that additional info that's there. There's photos, there's specs for the machines. I think for this challenge number 2, we've got a bit of a executable file on there you can run on the Raspberry. If you've got any questions around there, the mentors will be here all night tonight. I think what we do now is introduce you to each other. So if you just want to run through can everyone read that from the back? Make it a bit larger. If you do this, if you start at number 1, if everyone just, like, as we go down the list, put their hands up so you get to know each other. And what I'd recommend then, remember try to remember the names, and then form a Slack team afterwards. You can start chatting away, and you can then grab a table out there. As soon as we kick all the other guys out, we'll make some space. You can sit down. There'll be probably about 5 mentors around tonight until 11 o'clock. So I'd use that opportunity to really hammer them with your initial questions. They're no stupid questions. Like, they know that you guys aren't mining experts. So ask everything. But then again, you have 2 weeks time to ask those questions. If you don't get a chance to ask them tonight or tomorrow, you can always message them on Slack or communicate with them directly. So you start there, Andrew. Andrew. Austin. Cool. Michael is out, right?
He's here.
Michael is here.
He won't be here today.
But he's definitely joining. Okay, cool. Jack. Okay, it's question mark. Cool. Then team number 2 is Gregory. Yep. Joseph. Yep. Tom. Then Idris. He's here in Perth, so he's got his stuff already. Then team number 3, we've got Ben. Yeah. Nancy. How do you say it?
Nancy. But you guys can just call me Nancy.
Nancy.
Yeah.
And Caroline. Cool. You guys work together in school or in where do you know?
No, this is just
Just
together.
I put up a meetup.
How about you know each other? Okay.
No, we two
Oh.
kind of.
We just meetup. She like.
Oh, cool.
reached out to-
Awesome. Then team number 4, we got Alan. Yeah. Ibrahim. Yeah. Owen. Okay. Question mark. Yeah. And Anthony.
He went to pick up his wife.
Okay, cool. But he's part of it. Yeah. Awesome. Then team number 5, we've got Joshua. Josh? Question mark? Yep. Michael? Michael, yep. Robert? Cool. Yahal? And then team number 6, we got Michael. Oh, he's on there, that's right. Ben? Yeah. Manu? It's a question mark as well. And Thomas. Yeah, cool. But even, at least 3. If we end up with one team where we don't have at least 3 team members because they're missing or we can't get hold of them, then we can look for maybe merge 2 teams or something like that. But I think as long as we have 3 team members, we've got a pretty good team going. Then Adrian, Nicholas, Stephen, and Nathan is doing lovely. Okay, yeah, and then we're basically moving on to the online teams. For those of you joining online, we'll have a similar conversation. We'll have that conversation afterwards on Slack. Once we're going to Q&A session now, and then we'll drive that through Slack. I know we've got people in different time zones. We've got people. I think in Europe we've got kind of 2 groups. We've got a big group down in Santiago. So we've got 2 from actually running David and George. They got I think an IoT startup, so they're asked to join. Again, maybe if you want to reach out to those guys, check them out. I can post on Slack later what their company is. We've got quite interesting, I think. Maybe you can want to reach out to those guys. We've got another group down from Adelaide, Toronto, Adelaide again, and San Francisco. So they'll form a group. 4 guys from San Francisco, from Santiago, joining in. I hope you guys are on the channel. Then another group from Chilo, who's been part of the, I think he's been part of 2 hackathons, Melbourne and Perth, tuned in remotely for the past hackathons. And then with 2 members out of another one in Australia, that actually could work out where, in Netherlands, and then we've got another Aussie group. I think those guys are friends. They're quite a diverse group. If you're happy with the teams, then, well, if you're not happy, then you're kind of stuck with them. I'd say we pop back in, we sort of move into the Q&A sessions. Any questions around how the next 2 weeks are going to run? If it's fairly clear, if it isn't, you can always hit me up. Just direct message me on Slack. I'm not going to say any time, I'm going to sleep as well, but most of the time you're going to get a response from me. Yeah.
It's 2 weeks, so like, do you guys envision things coming up during the 2-week period? Because like that's a long period of time. You guys all,
yeah. Yeah, my question was, so the only fixed dates that were really here are the 13th and 14th, so 2 weeks.
Yep.
I think we can go on essentially work out about 10 minutes.
Absolutely, yeah.
The venue's open this weekend, 9 to 5 tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday, and then again next weekend.
So again, like if you want to check this out, if you want to know when it's open, just jump here in the sticky channel and pop this up. Again, this is important for the guys tuning in remotely. On the sticky channel on Slack, we've got the mentoring times. This is basically just a calendar view of when it's open. This is us tonight, and then during the week we'll be open from 4 to 5. Mentors will be over here, and then for those guys that are joining remotely, given the different time zones, those would be impossible to attend for the guys in Santiago, for example. There's an online bookings website. You can book time with the mentors from BHP. Just make sure, please, book not just 2 hours ahead, because then at 6 o'clock they're not going to see your booking. Try to book the previous day. And the mentors will then send you a video link, so a Skype request or a WebEx request, and then you can have one-on-one sessions with the mentors. The same goes for you if you can't make it here and you want to book time with one of the mentors. There's a link in the Innovator Pack. I'm also going to put it on the sticky. It's like, the link is unearth.acuity or something. You may have to look, there's I think 8 different mentors. You have to look at the individual mentors and see which times they're available. So you might find the mentor who's not available for the first part of the hackathon, but will only be available to mentor in the second half. So just try it out. You'll find mentors. It's mostly Yaron and Angus. They're kind of the 2 lead mentors. So they probably have the most availability in terms of time. And then if you want to check with some of the other guys, they'll be there. Cool. Any other questions? All right.
Logistically across the weekend as well, if you're having any problems with like Slack or getting in touch with any of us, we'll be available. But like, give us your feedback across the weekend if you're finding Slack's being a pain in the ass, or if you want to communicate with people in a different way.
Oh, can we put the Wi-Fi? We'll put it on Slack.
Yeah.
So have a look there. Yeah.
Access to the building, you don't need a slot card or anything.
You do in the evenings.
Okay.
Actually, for tomorrow,
we'll be here in the morning. I'll be here at quarter to 9 tomorrow morning. And it opens at 9, and there's breakfast and lunch served tomorrow as well. So you're more than welcome to come down and cop a free feed. That's all you want.
If you ever can't get in because the building's locked down or something,
put it in the sticky as
Great. And then Mikey, yours as well?
There's no C.
Yeah.
0411 264 650. I don't live far away, so I'm happy to come down and meet you guys, whatever you need.
Cool. Yeah. If you ever can't get in anywhere or can't get out anywhere, then give us a ring.
Also, importantly, if you guys want some food later, I'm just going to order dinner for everyone, but I want to get a number of how many people are here. It's 23, I think. So I was going to do like burgers or something. Is everyone happy with like a burger from Grill? Are you all going to stick around for dinner tonight?
Who's planning on heading off? Yes. Is anyone vegetarian? Yeah, cool.
Awesome. Cool.
Okay, yeah, just so we can
We can sort out some food, yeah. But the majority is about 20, there's about 20 sitting around.
Cool.
Any other questions, guys? Like ask now.
Do we
I'll
have
hold
to
you
use
busy.
the Raspberry Pis? If we come up with it, like, is there any
Yeah, if you don't expect
expectation we're going to use them or good reason to use them?
good reason for us is because it's very cheap.
I'm not wondering on like if the PHP already do these and they're used to it.
No. I actually went over to the like Yaron and Angus. You're gonna really like them, and they're like kind of rebels within PHP. They're building out their little own lab, kind of in an old kitchen with the PHP tower. They have to fight for that, but now they basically said. They're ordering everything you can get on the market, like every single board, every single piece you would ever want to build something, because they said ultimately, if we have an idea and we want to try something out, if we have to wait for 3 weeks to get a part in, it's just going to kill the process. So we're just not going to do it. So they're fitting out the lab, kind of like they kind of model it after this lab over there, where they just say, okay, we want to have everything there. If you want to build something, the part needs to be there. So they have Arduinos, they've got Raspberry Pis, they've got lots of different things.
Chance we can hit them up doing the part?
Yeah, absolutely. If you need a part,
You don't want to wait 3 weeks.
by the way, I think those of you which gave us the bank accounts, I think we have a bit of internal stuff up. Who hasn't received their money? Yeah. And the PayPal people probably have gotten their money. Yeah. Okay. Good. Sorry. So that will come through. So those, you'll all get $60 to your bank account. You can buy, if you want to buy some additional parts, if you want to buy some additional sensors, yeah, just use that money up. And if you don't, get some ice cream or something.
Our own money beyond the 60.
Sorry?
Oh, we have to spend our own money beyond the 60.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. There's no limit. But we just wanted to give you, a bit something up front. So you can obviously pool that as well as a team, and just build one prototype.
Yeah, we can reimburse it, but how much are you using?
Some things like cases and cameras and whatever, more than 60, or maybe some extra pies.
Yeah, there's plenty. How many
If
runs?
you need some extra pies or something like that, we've got, we've got a few spares up there. Yeah, just let us know. Like, we don't want your present. We're not going to buy you multiple DSLRs or something, but I quit. With good reason.
What might be helpful, because like 2 weeks is a long period, and you might lose track as you're going along the way. Is if one person from each team elects like a captain, of the team that can communicate for the team, as opposed to like 3 different people from each team communicating, because you might just get lost along the way. If one person wants to be that person, it might be helpful. And like that person can post on Slack if we've got any questions on behalf of the group. Maybe you could like put your name and then in brackets what the name of your team, if you're calling your team name something, just as a way of identifying who you are throughout the week. Everyone happy with that? You don't necessarily have to be like the leader, it's just more just like a spokesperson for your team.
Get out, it's getting really hot in here. Alright, so we'll basically jump out and then straight into the Q&A session. Grab some more food, grab a drink if you want.
When are we doing the challenge descriptions, Chris? When are we doing challenge intros? Now, in here or outside?
Once you're done,
Okay, I'm going to move through here. Oh, sorry. No, you're
Where are you doing a briefing?
back in there. Damn it. When you're doing the challenge intro, how? Okay. So when you want me to get dinner next?
If you're interested in learning more about the challenges and you want to dive into each challenge, you want to hear what they're about, feel free to stick around. Come on up to the front. There's plenty of seats. If you'd like to continue to network, we'll probably ask you to kind of move a bit out just because it will get a bit loud for when we're describing the challenge. So first up, I want to welcome Angus from BHP to describe and talk about the first challenge.
Alright everyone, can I ask you all to please take a seat if you are here for the challenge? And can I ask for people not listening to the challenge to keep it down to the dull roar, just back there please? Okay everyone, I'm going to start. So, being BHP, we have a few core values. One of them rides overarching to everything, and that's safety. So when we started this hackathon or this hardware challenge, we wanted to underpin it with safety and contextualize it for those competing in the challenges today. So let's start with the facilities in the area that we're working in here at Core. For those that don't know, an evacuation alarm will sound in the event of emergency. So we'll start with a beep beep sound, which is the signal to stay alert. Pre-recording will then ask you and advise you not to use the lifts. It will then move into a whoop whoop sound, which will signal the evacuation. We have a few evacuation points signed at the back, stairs going to the upper floor, as well as the door to the left and to the back. Some of the risks you may be exposed to during this challenge, one of them being fatigue. This is a hackathon in nature, so late night hours, Red Bull cans and coffee will probably be fueling the event. So let's talk about the safety fundamentals of that. At BHP, we believe that in order to work and be high performing, we manage our fatigue. So we do this with our fatigue management policy, and that guides us into staying highly effective and alert throughout our shifts. At BHP, we do not exceed 14 hours of work under no circumstance. So while we're doing this challenge, I'll ask you to manage your fatigue accordingly. If you're feeling tired, take a break. Common sense prevails. We employ a very simple and effective risk management process. Look at the risk, judge the impact. If you're arriving by car or cycling and then planning to code for a long time, you're probably going to become fatigued. Assess the risk, how fatigued are you, and then make the change. Take regular breaks, stay hydrated, keep coding. Alright guys, game time. Let's talk about challenge A, operational awareness. When we were designing this challenge, it was really just taking it from the whiteboard that we had in the lab and putting it down on paper in front of us. This is the challenge that I think everyone in the hardware tribe has had a solution for at one point in time, but it's incredibly hard to execute or take it through and get a possible solution in mind. You can see a piece of equipment here on the screen. It's manufactured by Caterpillar. We do a lot with Caterpillar. We do a lot with Caterpillar technology as well. As you can see through here, there's pieces of equipment here. For those not familiar with the sorts of technology that you can find on a mining site, we have a GPS satellite up on the top there. And you can see that there is a spiral cord bringing it down back into the cache, where there will be some sort of control unit, computer. What this machine is here to do is move dirt. Very simply, very effectively move dirt. And we move a lot of dirt at BHP. In Western Australian iron ore, we move up to 280 million tons of dirt per year. So we've become really good at moving dirt. Fundamentals, right? We've developed it over time. But our technology has sort of always been seen as just an essential that comes with the equipment, a bolt-on. Similar to a dealer option that you would receive when you're purchasing a brand new car. Click on the shopping cart. Okay, yeah, we'll have the, the $90,000 GPS solution, please. No, that sounds good. We never really design our solutions or processes around the technology. In digital tribes, we natively think technology first. We think digital, and we think, how can we do it better? Yeah, we could probably do it better. I mean, we're in the tribes, but we want to see how you guys do it better. So let's just start with some things to consider. Maths. Came here for a hardware challenge, got stuck with math. That was my experience when joining the tribe. We need to think first principles, and we need to think empirically how we solve our challenges. I've added some different ideas up here. I'll start with the left, move to the right, come back down. GPS position. GPS is probably going to be the buzzword of the event. Spoiler.
it's something it's something that there's a lot of resources online that you can read about, learn, and some of you, or I'm hoping nearly everyone, has a smartphone with pretty powerful GPS located in it. So you should be familiar with it, considering you carry one around regularly. I would urge all of you guys to maybe get some crash courses on GPS technologies, just to underpin the work that you're going to be doing in the challenges throughout the 2 weeks. Next one going on here, can anyone point out what sort of mathematical design we have up here on the right? Anyone brave enough to call it out? At the back? Ooh. It's very close. Half the credit. Yep. I love it. Yeah. yeah. So it's predicted curves. It's one way to sort of go from point A to point B. We can design algorithms around this. So where we have missing sensory information, we can start to use algorithms to predict where our equipment is. These are some sort of fundamental concepts that we're going to become familiar with over the 2 weeks. We're not expecting our massive graders to be producing real-time data for our terrain data sets. It's just not physically possible in the operations that we work in. These are giant remote areas that these minor designs hardly ever consider technological factors. So just start getting in that headspace, and it brings us down to the bottom left where we've got some vectors. Vector. These will also be very apparent when you start to look into the data sheets of the different equipment that we have on the mine and what we're looking to ascertain when we look at positional awareness. Lastly, sensor fusion. Ugh. Yeah, it's one of those really cool words. It's pretty much sensors that inform other sensors and then do derivative calculations to come up with a better output. We're hoping to see some of this. Industry examples. This isn't going to be a name and shame, but if you go online and you start to look at some of these technologies, there's people who lead the way in this mining application. Caterpillar, Leica, Modular. And you know, BHP invests heavily in these solutions, as do resources industry globally. These guys have made a business out of being innovative in this space. Some of their solutions are perfectly suited for mining. The challenge here is you guys can get to where these guys are, we believe, in a very short amount of time, and leave these guys scratching their heads going, what? Yeah. So get online, have a look. These guys have very detailed product offerings, so you can start to research some of the market competitive options out there. They'll help you frame the solution a little bit better. Stretch targets. This is like our wish list, what we've sat around in a room in the hardware tribe or in the lab. What would we really like to see? First one up there, go figure. Can your device simulate a greater functionality? This is operational awareness. So can you take a grader and show us it operating virtually, cyber-physically? Can the device be easily modified to suit the applications? This is the cross-sell. Can we scale it? We've got a lot of machine types. Even though we have one grader, we have many different variations of a grader, all with different dimensions. So we can't have just one solution. We need a scalable solution that we can employ and scale very quickly across our global assets. Can the device use many combined sensors to inform one another? Sensor fusion. Can the device withstand operational hardship faced on a mine site? This is a really good one. You can have the most elegant solution in the world, install it, baby it, Let it stroll out of the workshop. 12 hours later, it's down for maintenance because it's just broken and fallen off. We need to think. We need to think operationally when we deploy technology, because if it's not adding value to them, it's just a shiny big kit. Can this device visually output the machine usage? So this is where we use the operator feedback loop. So what are the outputs of your software or hardware design? Give back to the operator to build better behaviors so they can operate more effectively. And when I say this is a stretch target, this is a really cool space to innovate. I think I've put some YouTube videos in the info pack of what the current solution looks like, and you guys can have a bit of a laugh later. Physical properties be designed up front to inform the device of its application. So this is back into first principles. This is where you can use some sort of defined, well-established different constructs in there. When you come back to the end of the 2 weeks, we want to hear about, what were the conversations you guys had? What were the projects, or what were the ideas that were ringing, and then how did you elaborate on them and build them into the solution at the end of the 2 weeks? Where do you start? Well, you start with a Raspberry Pi, I think. That's true for everyone here. Everyone's on a level playing field. What we don't have that I would recommend, get a JCAR catalog and an Ultronics catalog and start circling some stuff really quickly, because it's gonna be a hack. It's gonna be fail fast, fail cheap, see what works. Questions for challenge A? Yes.
I'm missing something here, but what is it you actually want the device to do?
Yes. So we want the device to emulate or simulate a grader operationally. That is the ability to scrape and move dirt and then feed back the changes that it's just made to the terrain into some form of a data set. We're not going to define what the data should look like, because that's up to you and everyone here. There is more challenge information in the info packs, so don't feel like you're stuck out to dry here, and we'll be available to talk what our current systems do. I guess what I'm trying to say here is this stuff hasn't been innovated on for a long, long time, so we're excited to see what you guys can produce. So it's not about us setting you the design of, yep, this looks like that looks like what we have now. It's about, okay, we didn't even think about it that way. That's really cool. Yes.
On the introduction a few weeks ago, you seem to be concentrated entirely on bulldozers. Is it now switched to just graders? And in the video, you also in the background, I think, had tractor-drawn carry scrapers. So
yeah, that's
machines.
Yep. Yeah. So there's two machine types. There's the dozer. There's the grader. Both tractor type machines, both doing sort of earthwork type applications. Again, we're not going to focus so much on the machine type. We have given detailed data sheets for a specific type of grader. But what we want to see is a configurable solution that we can scale to any machine type, so we're not constrained to buying a grader solution. We want an entire operational awareness system, if that makes sense.
The simulation grader dealer.
There's a joke, there's a running joke in the hardware tribe that hardware tribe does software and the software tribe does software.
No one is hardware.
We want to see you get creative. Obviously, we've given you a Raspberry Pi for a reason, so we want to see that used. We want to see it innovated on. But yeah, you're going to be on Stack Overflow quite a bit. Yeah.
So all you want is an application runs in Raspberry Pi that simulates a grader in operation, and you change to the terrain.
It's not what I want, it's what the business wants. But that sounds pretty good.
But is Raspberry Pi have enough computation power to do?
Yes. And you can, and you will probably research the current solutions. And I think you'll find that the Raspberry Pi is indeed a lot technically superior to the current solutions out there in the marketplace.
So how it will show the simulation?
That would be me giving you the answer.
Was it more of a simulation or like a measurement system and providing the data set back from the actual grader operator?
Yep, obviously it's an open-ended challenge. I think the latter sounded a lot more desirable, but you would be silly not to do it without some sort of test to make sure that it's valid in an operational environment. Yep. Obviously, we're not going to get out there and start bolting these on graders and ask them to go for a drive.
But I guess if you had a little toy there that you strap it on, for example, and then could showcase that, that is certainly you can simulate the lights. I don't know, you can simulate the truck, the toy, pretty easy.
That's it.
Not a grader.
Yeah, or like popsicle sticks and toilet rolls. I'm sure you can make it work. Yeah. Cool. I think that's it for question time. So I'll hand over to our next challenge. Thanks, guys, very much.
And again, I think Angus and Jared, they're going to be around until 11 o'clock tonight. You can get together, you can look through the data sets. Did you not know that? Yeah. Yeah, have a look through it, and then you can ask the questions. It made a lot more sense to me as well last time you showed me, like Sam, I think, showed me some surface scan of the grader, and it's like, you're going to pass over the truck, like, and how do we feed that back into the system? So I think once you see some of the visualizations or some of the pictures, it's a lot easier to get a hang of.
Yeah, how you going? I'm Gary. One in the Harbour tribe with Angus, here to present a challenge B. So with this, we're looking for you guys to produce a product that we can strap to our existing hardware platforms, such as cones and hard barriers and or machinery personnel. What we want to do is we want to make our personnel aware of their surrounds in the digital world. So we want someone to be able to walk past a truck that's tagged out and got people working on it and understand what's happening on that at that particular time. We want people to walk past a working at heights is happening. We've put some cones out. We want a device that we can sit on our cones. So as someone walks up to that, they're aware that there's people working above them. We want to know when people walk near a machine. We want to know if a machine's put into motion and a person is about to step behind it in a workshop environment. All those kinds of use cases is what we're after here. But we're after the ability to transfer that data at high frequency and at high speed. So say we've got two machines, they're both going at 60 kilometers an hour. We need them to be able to transfer their heading, their location, their velocity without a loss of packet. So things like authentication probably aren't that important in this scenario. That all takes time. We don't have time. Yeah, that's what we're after with this particular challenge. Get into a little bit more detail. So here's some points to consider. We ultimately need two devices. We need a low-power device that can sit on the cones, the barriers, the equipment, a trailer in the field, a comms tower, a lighting plant, anything like that. And we need it to be beaconing off its location, its speed, information about what it is. Define its safety barriers. So a cone may only need a 5-meter barrier around it. A comms tower might need a 20-meter barrier. So that needs to be configurable. It needs to be broadcasting that information regularly. It needs to be able to run off its own battery power, be chargeable, last at least 72 hours, I believe, is our definition here, but roughly about that on the battery power. So low power devices. Either that or running off a solar array is another option. Capable of roughly 5-meter accuracy. It doesn't need to be high precision. It's about safety more than anything else. As I said, outputting beacons containing the location, the heading. We're looking for something no bigger than about 1,000 centimeters cubed, so 10 by 10 by 10. Any bigger than that, and it's too bulky to strap onto things like barriers and cones. We would like to see it use commercial off-the-shelf wireless comms hardware, so a standard Wi-Fi chip or a 900 meg chip or something along those lines, low cost IoT type devices, ZigBee, something along those lines. Utilizing class license frequency bands, so we can't impede on what Telstra and Vodafone and everyone else uses. So it needs to hit 430 to 900, 2.45 around that area. Have outlier detection for when it loses GPS precision. We don't want a cone to pop up 100 meters down the road in front of a truck as it's driving or anything like that. We need it to know when something's gone wrong and not affect all the other equipment. Whether that's done on board the device or done on board the receiver is entirely up to you guys. Then we need a separate device. So, the recommendation will the line go straight to an Android app or an Android device that can read in these beacons and can give you that positional awareness, give you push notifications, give you alarms. Stretch goals are trucks being aware of where other machines are. So as you can see here, that's outlining that there's a John Doe 25 meters away that isn't moving. It's outlining that there's a wheel loader 32 meters away. That kind of positional awareness. We obviously don't want alarms happening when there's a truck going down a ramp and another truck coming up the ramp, so it needs to understand the heading and the velocity so they're not intercepting. Obviously, that's stretch targets, being able to do the machine awareness. It's more about the safety equipment, about the cones, that kind of personnel awareness. So I think one of our people can walk around in our fixed plant areas and understand that there's working heights happening in this particular area, the plant's about to be started up, that kind of thing. Pocket size and or tablet size. So if you go into the Android realm, obviously that allows that versatility there. So I've put down some useful projects. We've obviously discussed this quite heavily in the hardware tribe. We've looked into it a bit. There's a lot of resources on GitHub. There's people have created, so there's the Lowe's location-based Wi-Fi system that embeds location information or other information in SSID beacons. There's a lot of stuff out there for you guys to look into around that. There's a couple of other ones down the bottom, SyncThing and LeverVault. That's in the stretch target stuff. Can we start to use these to collect information about their surrounds? So there may be a situation where there's some cones out where there's no ability for that data to be transferred back. Can they store that data and then forward it when there is a network in place? We get into that side of things. As Angus has done, I've also outlined some commercially available systems. These don't hit exactly where we want. These are all based more around machines understanding where each other are. They don't consider people. They don't consider phones or barriers or anything along those lines. And some more stretch challenges. You guys got any interest there? Can the transmitter device use a Debian-based operating system? So we have a big push for Ubuntu 4 at the moment, the Snappy architecture. I don't know if you knows anything about that, but it allows us to simply roll out software updates. Can the device be easily upgraded over the air? So that comes back to that. Some way that if we need to change code, can that happen very easily? Can the devices phone home and understand whether there's been an upgrade deployed to a server? Can the device be used to create a mesh network for IoT data packets? Say we've got a sensor out in a ball pump and we've got some devices scattered around. Can we use those devices to transfer information about that ball pump back to the server? Can the device be used as a cache, store, and forward type file transfer system? As I spoke about before, that comes back to SyncThing and LeverVault. Can location information be uploaded to a web app? So can we make our mine controllers here in Perth be able to see what cones are out, what barriers are out, where they are in relation to everything else? So can that all information will be pulled back as well as being ad hoc? Can that particular tool also identify faults in the system or devices? So if there's a particular device that all of a sudden can't get a GPS lock because there's something physically wrong with it, can that information be reported back? And can the app also be used to program the device parameters? So can you walk up to one of the bricks and program in that it's now got a 20-meter exclusion zone and it's being used for working heights, that kind of thing. These are all stretch goals. We understand you've only got 2 weeks to work on it, but being able to hit any one of these would be amazing. I guess question time.
Everyone, it's the stretch goal, I guess, for vehicle or mobile equipment direction and heading. Can we simulate that, or do we actually have to pull the data off CAN, know how to do it, and then
No, simulation's perfectly fine. Yeah, so we've got the understanding to be able to get the information off our machines. It's having an application that can parse that information. If you set it up to be able to pull in standard NMEA streams or something along those lines, that's fine. You can pull NMEA simulators off your GitHub, that's not a problem at all. Anything else?
Can you spell that?
Sorry?
What sort of simulator?
NMEA. NMEA, yeah, so it's a standard GPS stream. Anything else? All good?
Are we allowed to add sort of static routing nodes?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if that's required, yes, for sure. You can obviously have gateways if they're required as well. So say you need to use a 3G network to get the location information back from we've got an exploration rig out in the middle of nowhere or something like that, then yeah, you can have a gateway to go from the mesh network into a 3G to upload that data, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do we assume that there's some sort of network coverage across the entire site?
No, so we want this to create its own network. We need to assume that there isn't a network available there.
I'm thinking more as well for the personnel going in, say they've got phones using their Android apps or something, can we assume that they've got some sort of connectivity, or does it have to be updated wherever they're at an office or something, and then where they go out?
So it's more about knowing when they're in radius. So it's only understanding, say, 50 meters around them. So when they walk near that particular device, they should get a notification. It's not about when they're back within 3G service, they get a map file uploaded or anything like that. Yeah. It's about that ad hoc type network. Yep.
Yeah, similar question. Can we assume that there's adequate GPS kind of covering of the entire site?
Adequate GPS, yeah, pretty well. Okay. So the plan for this is more around high traffic areas and that more so than up against the pit wall where there's very little GPS. So, but we do need to be able to detect that outlier GPS situations so we're not all over the place. Cool. All right. Well, yeah, if you feel free to ask us any other questions and we'll be around until 11.
And I guess with free, I think if you've got a question, if you think, you know, what does certain data look like, or do you have some data available that it's not in the pack, there's no harm in asking. So, you know, so some of the stuff you might be able to pull, you might be able to share. And what we do is if there is data shared with one of the teams, for example, we'll always make that available through Slack to everyone else. So there's no advantage for any particular team.
Something I don't think was discussed. There isn't an exact expectation that you do this with the particular Raspberry Pi W that you were provided. If you think there's a better hardware platform out there for it, then by all means go use whatever you think is required. You're not restricted to that particular Raspberry Pi. And yeah, add any other hardware that's required.
Yeah. So I'd say if there's any more questions, hit those two up. Hit some of the other mentors up that are still around. If there's nothing else now, I'd say we just grab some of the tables. I think they're just back there in the corner. You can roll them out. We can rearrange the chairs here for those of you guys who want to stick around. Yeah, we can start looking at those data sets. The link is online. So yeah. So basically, most of the mentors come from the digital tribe. So they will all know about both of the challenges. So they can give you guidance in both of the challenges. And then we kind of got like expert mentors, which is but the challenge number one that is Angus, Sam, I think, right? And was it Richard? And Richard as well. So Sam was talking earlier. Richard is here, is busy. And then for challenge number two, we got Yaron, and who would you say?
I'd probably be looking at Jason Hopkins and Richard as well.
Jason is there as well, so if you're working with challenge number two, keep it in mind. And yeah, but again, you should be able to ask all of the mentors basic questions around mining and sort of basics on the challenges. Cool. If that's it for now, then get in your team, grab a table from back there, and we can arrange that. There's some power cords should be around. If not, I'll arrange that. Alright guys, so I'll have a look how many of you guys are still, just looking at the camera. I'll have a look at how many of you are still online. If you're online, please jump on the Slack channel, and we can do a quick tally up who's there, who's not there, and then see if we can get the teams together. So I'll see you on the Slack channel.